Welcome back, everybody. So, if you haven't noticed, 1.101 has launched and we got plenty of interesting new vehicles, but we also got some new mechanics. Not only did we get AIM-7 Sparrows, but there's a new way of firing missiles. In fact, it covers all types of aircraft weaponry. It is the weapon switching mechanic. It unfortunately doesn't have a catchy name to it like a lot of other mechanics do commonly. I guess you could call it the Swith because Gaijin seem to have misspelled switch. But anyways, the new mechanic, in my personal opinion, after messing around with it, is pretty cool. However, some people have had a little bit issue with using it, as it can also restrict you from using your regular setup. So let's first run through how you set it up. You go into controls for aircraft, go to weaponry, and this will most likely be already set up for you, but you have to pick a fire primary weapons and a fire secondary weapons. And then you gotta scroll down a little bit till you find exit selected weapon mode, Swith primary weapons, and Swith secondary weapons. So what the exit button does is it disables the system and then reverts to the original controls that you probably already have set up, where R is rockets and spacebar is bombs. Swith primary weapons changes what guns you are using, as those are your primary weapons on your aircraft. So if you only want to fire your high caliber cannons, or maybe perhaps your plane has a 37 that you only want to fire that single cannon, that's what would control it. Now the Swith secondary weapons is for missiles, rockets, and bombs. Now let's get into game to see how it functions. What you do is, if it's not on already, you just press one of these Swith buttons and that will automatically turn it on, and then it lets you scroll through the selected weapon type that you want, and you can notice by a little arrow on the side of said weapon type in the corner with all the other weapon information. If there's multiple types of missiles or rockets, it will display the name of the rocket right next to it instead of moving the arrow up or down. Now the most important factor to know here is that when you have this activated, all secondary weapons are fired by the fire secondary weapon button. So if you happen to bind that to, say, R for example, that means that when you want to drop your bombs, you will no longer press the spacebar, you will press R. Now there are many ups and downs with the system. The primary up is that it allows you to fire which type of weapon you want at whatever time. For example, if you happen to have only rockets on your AD4 and you want to fire the Tiny Tims first, now you can. You don't need to waste all of the H-fires before you fire those Tiny Tims. And the same goes with the newly added Sparrows. If you wish to fire Sparrows because you are currently at a very long distance, you can select the Sparrows, but if you wish to fight at a closer distance, you can now fire the AIM-9s. A rather odd benefit that I have found that probably won't come in handy too often, but for those who are wishing to make memes, it may so, is it allows you to fire the weird upward-facing cannons that are on some Japanese and German, and I guess now Italian aircraft, independently without changing the camera angle. However, there are some downsides. The main one being that there's going to be a bit of a learning curve to relearn all your controls if you do wish to use this system. However, there's more tactical ones that can't be getting around as easily. For example, if you wish to fire only all of your 20mm cannons and two of them are on gun pods because you're flying the BF-109G2, unfortunately you cannot do that. You can either fire the gun pods or the main engine one. You cannot fire all three at once using this system. However, with the old controls, you can fire all 20mm cannons. And in a similar sense, if you are flying around the duck and wish to shoot down an enemy plane but don't want to use your large anti-tank cannon, you can unfortunately not fire only the machine guns and 20mm cannons. You can only fire either or all three at once, including the anti-tank cannon. However, for some planes like the YP-38, which only have what you would classify as machine guns and no 20mm cannons to go along with their larger cannon, you cannot fire the 30 cals and 50 cals independently. They can only be fired all together, as they all count as a singular weapon group. However, overall, I think the introduction of this is a very good choice, especially because it can also be used on helicopters, which use a large variety of weapons at a single time. And for the various planes that are detrimented by this system in bizarre ways, you can always turn the system off and go back to the usual weapon system. However, what I think would be a cool alternative is to perhaps make it so you could set up weapon groups yourselves and select those weapon groups in the cycle instead of the preset ones. While that would only benefit very few planes, it would be still cool to have the ability to do, though it might be complicated on how to set it up exactly. But that's all I gotta say on the system. If you have any questions or concerns, be sure to hit me up down below in the comments or on my Discord. Before I end this video, first I'd like to thank some amazing people who are changing the globe as we speak, conquering destinations and building dreams. They are my YouTube members and patrons. Thank you very much, guys. Keep being awesome as you usually do. Anyways, to end this video, first I'd like to say thank you very much for watching. Be sure to hit the like button if you did like it. Don't hit the like button if you didn't like it. If you want to see more, hit that subscribe button. I make War Thunder Weekly news videos every Friday, make random videos throughout the week, and I like to stream on Saturdays. So be sure to hit the bell icon to be notified anytime I upload anything at all. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a fantastic day. And in terms of bonus news, I found a tank. Do you recognize what type? The real question though, for true champions, do you know where it is?